So. You'd all rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Emily.
So we're gonna do something just a little different before we get the consent agenda going on. I saw this in another council meeting and I kind of like the way it worked. Where I verify we have a quorum and ask if anybody has any other business to add. No,
No, but I
And-
like that.
and acknowledge absences, and Dwayne is excused for this meeting. Then we do a little vote to approve the quorum and the changes, so I'll accept a motion.
Accept a motion to approve the procedure.
And second,
I'll second.
I'll second. Third, fourth, fifth.
who are we picking?
You choose.
I'll let the clerk choose. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and opposed? Great. So consent agenda now.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Great. I guess we'll start with department reports. Let's see. I went to the mayor's meeting earlier this month. Not a lot to really talk about with that. I met with Jim Buzzard about some things that we have going on. Not a lot to talk about with that. Went to the Toledo birthday celebration. That was fun. Had a nice chat with Mitchell from the Chronicle. And do we have anybody here that, no, we don't have. Okay. He wrote some good words about us in the Chronicle, which was nice. And met with Mayor Svensson to go over the plan review and inspection ILA, and that's on our agenda. So we can cover that when it comes up. And pretty much been swamped working in budget. I'm really liking the way it's going on, and I was supposed to add another business item to schedule a budget time. So we'll do that in other business. But I forgot. And that's all for me. So let's see. Public Works.
Hello.
Hello.
So we finished our inventory for Public Works, turned it in. Rachel should have it. We added a few things that hadn't been added in a while. So that all went well. Hopefully, everything got added, and there's stuff that we could probably take off, like screwdrivers and stuff like that, that actually get lost quite a bit. We had a mixer motor go down. That's gonna be kind of a spendy little unit. We can't go without an extra. So I took it down, they pulled it apart. It doesn't seem to be able to be repaired. So I've already contacted the company that, we will purchase the other one through. He's gonna get a quote and send it over as soon as he can. So it's kind of a bummer. Rachel found a computer for my workstation. We just gotta get it online. So that's good. Ted from Fowler came down. There was a little bit of confusion with the meters. Some of them weren't reading, some of them were, and it turns out some of the numbers got entered wrong, from when we first got the meters. The IED numbers have to match the, receiver, otherwise they won't read. And that was most of the problem. The numbers were wrong, so we went through and corrected those. The reading should go pretty smooth like it should. Started getting the equipment up and ready for service and put away for the winter. The new mowers actually up there now. I just got to change the oil, do the first service on it, sharpen the blades, grease it, put it away, along with the other hand tools, weed eaters and all that stuff that we're not going to be using. And that's about it.
How much does the mixer motor cost, or a replacement for that?
I'm waiting for the quote,
Okay, all right.
Which mixer is this?
the one in the ditch, the one with the
The big giant one?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
It seized up and broke the planetaries and everything right now.
So it's expensive.
Well, it runs 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it's,
Good, we had a spare.
Yeah, it's really good. Definitely.
yeah, we're gonna have to, and I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be other things too through the year, so. Excellent, that part about the plant, that everything runs 24/7, so.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mike. City Hall.
So we had a tort claim filed for Kemp Olson after that big windstorm, a tree branch fell on the car. I spoke with RMSA and they stated that this most likely is gonna be considered an act of God, so it won't affect us, it'll be a no fault for us. We submitted a bunch of photos and the invoice that shows that we had our trees trimmed, so we should be good on that, but I haven't officially heard back. The Wiggle Stop grant was submitted. Update on Carly, she's been taking payments, she got delinquency notices in 2 weeks ago. We worked on shut-offs today, so we'll have door hangers out tomorrow. A lot of the people that were behind are now caught up from the last billing cycle. She's picked up on the utilities platform pretty quick, and the notes in Trello have made things run really smooth with all the links to how to do everything. She's been working on indexing our ordinances. We've pulled all of our dog licenses off of paper. And we've got it onto the server in an Excel format for right now. She's worked on a couple other small tasks, just kind of some cleanup stuff. I'm really pleased with how fast she's picking up on just the Visions platform and city business. We found some reports in the 2022 box that we should have been keeping that we weren't, just some reconciliation reports. So just kind of looking back on the way that the previous staff put things together at the end of the year. So it kind of gave us some guidance that maybe we should obviously be doing those things too. So she's also been working on going back through January up to date and making those files as well. I've heard back from the RMSA regarding training on the elected officials classes, and I think we're gonna go over that later. Going back a couple, I think last month, we had the smoke detectors that needed to be installed, so we got those done in the office and the chambers and police department. Updates on some things that we were looking at as far as our payments. Our US cellular costs have come down. We closed out one of our Wi-Fi devices since it hasn't been in use. The SAO report that I have been stumbling on for the last couple months, I have managed to get through everything. I found the missing money. I got all the reports submitted. The only thing I have to do now is go back and do the notes section, which talks a lot about what the city owes as far as retirement in the whole. I've got a lot of the notes that Michelle left, so I think that's probably going to take another day or two, but I literally spent all week last week working on that. Carly's computer was to Public Works and she took over the police department computer. I ordered another computer for the police department today. And we're getting some information on replacing the server, but that's kind of at a standstill right now. I came in this weekend and got some more office cleanup done. Been working on closing out the 2022 boxes and getting the 2023 boxes together. So these are just archive boxes that need to have everything consolidated in them and put them away. And we have a stack of 2022 stuff that was left for us that needs to be kind of organized and still put away. So technically our archive boxes for 22 have not been put away yet. I've been going through Audrey's notes on what needed to be changed for the audit. A lot of these things are policies, and a couple of things, the way that we filed our SAO reports, which is exactly what I worked on this week. So I was able to go in and make those changes to make sure we didn't submit them incorrectly again. And I reached out to some other cities as far as what their policies are. It was like a procurement policy, a payroll policy, and the bidding that's not what it's called, I'm trying to think of the term for it, but it's how we do our bidding. And so I've got in the procurement policy back, so we'll just need to update it and we can put it in our policy book. REIT 2, has been filed with Lewis County, and Buzzard reached out today, just to get some information on that. The way the other cities submitted it was a little bit, or it was worded a little bit different. Their REIT 2 was worded 0.5, or it was worded 0.5%. And we have REIT 1 and REIT 2 worded as 0.25, so we might have to redo that, but I think that's kind of why Buzzard stepped in. And we have a meeting with the Winlock judge and attorney on October 19th, which should help us get a little bit more progress as far as our, how we're submitting our tickets and any questions that we have for them. And Mike and I have a workshop set up for 11/14 for new contracting laws that are required for 2024.
There's a bars number for REIT combined, but they have different requirements, so
Yeah.
it's better to leave, there's one to combine or to separate, okay.
Yeah, they didn't like the way it was worded, but I explained to them since they both come in under different bars, why it's 2 different ordinances. And so she said she's gonna try to submit it for us, but we have plenty of time because it doesn't come into effect till December anyways. So I should probably hear back. Buzzard reached out Friday, so I'm sure we'll hear back from them in a day or 2.
Questions for the clerk?
No, that's awesome. Thank you. That's a lot. Yeah, it sounds like it, man.
Thank you for the support you're giving me on the bars number.
Yeah, we've been working
Organization and
like
Crazy.
100 hours a
like
week.
Yeah.
Banshees, yeah, a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Emily,
Wait,
oh,
wait,
go
wait,
ahead,
wait,
go ahead,
wait.
sorry, go ahead.
I did think about that and, it was said that you were renaming some of the bars.
Mhm.
Is that going to impact the state auditors?
No, so we're not changing the bars numbers, we're just renaming them, so that way there's less mistakes. They were worded, to fit way
Unfortunately, they were worded.
Michelle
unfortunately.
or Jill did
Yeah.
things, they knew what they meant.
Yeah.
So some things are just a little bit, I don't wanna, it's not misleading, but it's hard to understand. So when I'm looking at them and I'm trying to either bring in the revenue or, pay an expense, what I'm reading isn't always what I'm thinking it is. So we're just trying to get it where when it says park refund, it's a park refund rather than, miscellaneous refund. And I have to go down and try to figure out which bars number belongs to the park. So,
Clarity.
yes.
Yes,
And
and then some of the funds, so we have added some bars numbers while we're on the topic, like there was a park garbage 10%, which was a $5,000 catch-all for everything having to do with the park, the PUD was in there,
Yeah.
So the
all that.
park, the garbage 10% is gonna go from $5,000 down to like 100. Because there's 3 other bars numbers for, maintaining the park and repairing things in the park. So,
yeah,
you see that,
in doing that, we're just finding a lot of things that were applied incorrectly and, paid out incorrectly. So it's not just fixing, it's, the bar name is going back and doing the last 10 months of going through everything and replaying it, so.
and that's giving us the nice thing about that is it's giving us a soft start on 24's budget, so we'll have some numbers that we, can see what budget we're spending to right now this year, as we're working on next year.
And the next audit.
And the next audit. Before I move on, though, thank you to all of you Lions Club members here. You know who you are for your help with the tree trimming. It was very perfectly done. Saved us some issues with insurance. Anybody else questions for? No? Go for it, Emily.
No, okay, so, the wiggle stop, the grants, so for the thing that Joe and I have been working on and that, Rachel and Eric have been signing off on. Here's what I know so far, is that, oh, I didn't bring the other piece of paper, darn it. I will have that, at the office. If anybody wants to come in and look at the site or the actual plans that we have available for a swing and for an ADA swing and everything that is listed that will be part of the upgrade of playground equipment that will come into the playground. Also, we will be, have asked for a site plan for a second company that, originally came in and did the, ship. If anybody has been to the playground, they know the ship, the pirate ship that's in there. All of the metal, those replacement parts have been asked to be replaced as part of the whole. Oh, no, I'm not doing this very well, am I? Sorry, guys. So all projected costs are in the totals that went with the grants proposed. So that is with the Wiggle Stop. I'm not sure about the other grant so far. We didn't talk about that one. I'll get back to you about the actual building,
The structure.
the structure.
That will go off tomorrow.
That will go off tomorrow. Okay, so I have learned, there are several grants that have been, there's 3 new grants that just came up for parks. There's a community outdoor athletic facilities grant. It's 1.2 million non-matching. This grant will open in December. And it is for funding athletic facilities that would be square. So like they were saying BMX, but I was thinking like skate park, you know, for anything like the poo ponds, the old poo ponds that we have. This could be something that could fund that potentially. This grant opens in early December. So we have a small amount of time to figure out what we would want to do. That is the first grant. There are,
Is that at $1.2 million for the whole thing, or $1.2 million each grant?
that's one for the first grant, non-matching. Then there are several, then there are 3 other grants coming as well. One would be all of the, 2 of them are 50% matching. And one says varies. So from the government, what does that mean? 2 would be for, it specifically says in there that it would be for shoreline improvement. And what, and then one would be for recreation projects. The third one is specifically for recreation projects. And that is for, it specifically says in there for recreation projects for structures and upgrading your parks that you currently have. So anyway, I can tell you more about this in detail if anybody wants to talk to me, because I didn't really explain it that well. These grants that are coming up are due February, April, and May. So if we want input, we've got to get on that, I think, fairly soon, especially for the community outdoor athletic facilities grant, because that one opens in December.
Sounds like you have a lot of grant stuff going on. Maybe you could work with the clerk to get this on
Well,
schedule.
I mean, I
Like-
just
No,
saw them
But we could have a.
last night
we
and
could have
this
another
morning,
business, yeah.
and you know, they come up, they literally come up.
Yep.
Overnight, and it's like, oh, hey, you can have millions of dollars.
That was a good reason for us to, we talked about that going through and having a packet of things we know we want grant money for.
Exactly.
So we've kind of pre-prepared a paragraph. Joe talked about that.
Right,
That
so,
kind of something.
I mean, and even if we have just a community, like just the outdoor athletic grant, we could work for, you know, and have written a shoreline in the future, because that the coupons or right next to that shoreline.
No idea what a coupon is.
I don't know what
I
else.
think they
to
call those shovel ready projects.
Yeah, so we can have shovel-ready projects already lined up, because those will come again. And it behooves us to have our ducks in a row, especially if we're a small city. And Perez, I believe, has started, Marie Perez, has started to spearhead grants for small cities. So, because I was whining about it so much to her. So. Okay, the end.
Thank you.
I
Anybody questions for Emily? No?
would think that-
Okay, Rebecca, we're going in order now, this time.
Well, I attended the planning commission's open meeting last week just to kind of see what the temperature was. I was very pleased with our commission chair and consultant's abilities to state facts and keep everybody somewhat calm about it. I think the owner might have been able to do a little better job at his presentation, but he pretty well got shut down at the first sentence. I'm sorry, I'm delighted to see the folks that are here. I'm sorry some of those folks don't attend these kind of meetings more often. I know sitting here, I've learned a lot in the last few months that I didn't know was going on because I didn't pay that much attention to what council was doing beforehand. Which is something else I tried to get started on, is go back through the minutes and make a little spreadsheet to see what was on the table and what got done and what still. I looked at January and that's as far as I got.
That's a great.
January was a mess, that's when there wasn't anybody here, so, but it made a mess. I'm delighted with our current city clerk. I think I know it's taking time, but it just seems like things are really getting put back, and your work too, Eric, getting put back in order, so the rest of us can make some sense of what's going on. And other than that, I'm trying to make sure I'm up to date on the required training, which I'm not sure if I am or not, but I'm looking for time to
I think
get
you're
some
good.
of that.
I'll let you
Okay.
know. I'm gonna go through.
I've got the
everyone's stuff.
December date on my calendar, so
Yeah.
I'll be ready for that too.
We have one last shift date, but I'll get them all out probably next week.
I was trying to look through it too, but there's a lot of choices and I can't figure out what's recorded and what's just fun.
Yeah, it's moving through the RMSA, so it's won't see on here.
Okay, and that's it.
Thank you. Let's see who's next. Kathy.
I also went to the planning commission meeting. And afterwards, next day or so, we drove around with the gentleman that was talking about his tall trees.
Mhm.
It was an enlightening drive around the lower part of the city there. There are many, many dangerous trees that have outgrown their. I mean, they're encroaching on roads, sidewalks, who knows? And the interesting thing is, where are these trees located? Are they in the easement? Are they considered city property? There's not a sidewalk that you can measure 1 foot inside of in most of these places.
Trees alongside houses are the owners, at the owner's purview.
Okay,
The city
when their
doesn't have
yard
any
just
trees on them.
extends out with no definition into the street,
Mhm.
then then you would have to measure and mark off.
They own the trees. They choose what trees to put up there. They're responsible for maintaining them. City doesn't maintain trees.
Is there a way that the city could have a fund where, because taking down those trees, they're so humongous, especially if you've been like gifted.
I have a to-do
Bye.
to talk to RMSA about seeing
Yeah.
if we can help on those.
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean, they're
450
so
elder trees.
humongous,
Yeah, those,
because it's not,
And
only- it's
also-
it's a liability to the folks around them, it's a liability to the city. I mean, I would agree.
I'll tell you, those
I
poplars
think
are
the
gonna
same
put power out if they go the wrong way.
Yeah, or a roof.
Well, he's actually talking about having to have some of the power lines pulled down for the removal. So
Oh, wow.
neighbors without power for the
I
day.
talked to him for about a half an hour, and yesterday, the day,
Oh, Paul?
yeah, and, no,
Oh, the owner.
The resident, and, those things are huge.
Yeah, they're monsters.
And we discussed which way they had to fall, and you couldn't top them because then one would fall into the other.
Massive.
$5,000.
Yeah, they're not cheap. A tree,
The one we had to have taken down, that had the 8 trunks, the 400 cedar. And Paul did that, but one fell. He came and checked it out. We had to, and it's extremely expensive, and I don't know, that stump is what, 8 feet across? Cause we just left part of the stump on purpose. So yeah. Trees in this town are starting to get very, very, very old. Our town.
Thank you, Kathy.
Mhm.
All right, Jamie, you're up.
Well, I got nothing, but do we know any sawmills that would like to come take our trees?
The Lions Club?
That's interesting.
I have no idea. Okay,
Maybe they could make something cool with them and give it back.
planning commission.
Yeah.
See if you want to come up.
I
and
do,
give
I
us-
was,
Okay,
just my head was thinking about something else. Oh, yes, I was thinking about what do you do once the tree's down, because nobody wants to touch those stumps, because the roots are gonna be through every utility we have in the streets.
You inoculate them with mushrooms and then you can make it be a wildlife sanctuary. I know, look, I'll be like, oh my gosh.
On that note,
No.
The planning commission held a public hearing on the proposed 3-story apartment building on the 11th. Actually went very smoothly, I think. We had a lot of folks attend and were given the opportunity to speak their mind, and we had very little in the way of agitation. I think I agree with Kathy that the developer could have done a better job presenting, but I do believe that he is reconsidering. Whether that's formal or not, we will not know until he actually submits a set of drawings for the building permit approval to the planning commission. But I do believe that he was listening to the crowd with regards to which direction he's going to take. In the future, the city council may be looking at a lot adjustment and a lot line adjustment that was done back in 2020. It was signed by Mayor Dobosh in November of 2020, and the county has sent it back to us because the small plat that was approved also runs in line with a lot line adjustment, and it's the county's opinion that the two do not get done at the same time.
Oh, that's that email I saw. I thought that was somebody new trying to just go straight to the.
No,
Okay,
and so Cynthia and I agreed we will play detective and try to figure out who's on first, so to speak. But I think eventually it may come back to the city council for an approval on a lot line adjustment. I think you can't penalize the owner of the property 3 years later when they have an approval, but we'll handle it with kid gloves and make sure it gets done. I'm excited that we're going to be welcoming a new planning commission member and looking forward to his swearing in. That's all I have.
thank you for running that public hearing. It served its purpose if the developer was listening. All right, do we have somebody from the park board wants to give a status?
I was unable to make the last park board meeting, but I did talk to the park board.
It was canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Locker
Locker
Forum,
Forum, yes.
Okay. And coming on down to public comment on agenda items from the public. No? Okay. First new business is resolution 272A, a resolution of the city of a resolution of the City Council of Toledo, Washington approving a utility shut off for non-payment during extreme heat policy, just in time for winter. This is a response to House Bill 1329. So we're doing this because we're supposed to.
Yeah, I was excited to this.
I make a motion that. We approve resolution 273.
Two.
Oh, so I'm sorry, 272.
All right, do we have a second?
Second,
Motion and a second. Discussion?
How will this affect our citizens of Toledo in the heat?
If we're having an extreme heat thing going on
They can't
and
pay the bill.
then they can't pay the bill, we won't shut them off.
well, they have to appeal, or they have to request.
Yeah, there's some details that go along with it.
Yeah, it's all in the exhibit.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
And do you have something set up for documenting these?
Yeah, we'll just continue with the way we're doing it, just keeping records of everything. They'll have to call in and let us know. Again, it's all kind of in this bill that got passed. And then once the heat wave is up, we will move forward with shutoffs. However, how it's stated in this thing sent by Buzzard. And we will have to get new door tags, new door hangers that will state this information. And I think we will also add some comments to our delinquency postings, letting them know they have this option during the evening.
excellent. Any other discussion?
Will we need to then increase our budget for next year because of?
I don't believe that.
All this is doing is just extending the number a
Deferring it.
little bit, so that way we're not shutting off the water in the middle of the heat wave. That's all.
Well,
it's
yeah,
doing.
I mean, potentially.
We're not giving them the free bill.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
but
We don't run paycheck to paycheck, so it's not gonna affect us in that regard, if that's what you're talking about.
no, I'm just saying that, cushion. Okay.
Yes. All right. Call for the vote on resolution 272A. All those in favor?
I,
And opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Machines just started asking for the Wi-Fi password. Was that you? No. Okay, so new business number 2 is an ILA with Winlock for plan review and building inspections. I met with the mayor of Winlock last week, and we had a great conversation. He expressed that he has no desire to charge us to the fullest extent of what they can get away with. And definitely appreciate that. He just needs to cover his costs. And I believe that I have a worksheet in there at the end that Cindy attached for me.
We'll also print it at your desk.
For everyone?
No.
Oh, just for me. So basically, it's $52.09 an hour plus drive time. Round trip is 14.6 miles, which is which is about almost $10. An hour with drive time is 61.65. 90 minutes with drive time is 87.70. One of the things we also did talk about is Robert over there will, if you fail an inspection, but you kind of barely failed it and you've got a good reputation going with him and you're not abusing his trying to get one over on him, then he tends to every once in a while give away I'll just come back and do a reinspection. So I did tell him we wanted that customer service that he gives to the people in Winlock as well, the builders in Winlock as well. So that us going at somewhere, splitting the difference between an hour and 90 minutes puts us at around $75 fixed rate. So we don't have to keep track of mileage. We don't have to keep track of hours. And I believe that when we were setting the fees, we were budgeting $100 an inspection. So $75 per inspection is great. And that's what I'm recommending. That's down from was gonna be a minimum of $113.75 because there were attempting to do a 2-hour call out minimum, but. It's a call out while they're working, so it's not, you know, from a union standpoint, it's not like it's you're coming to inspect at midnight.
Or if you want to speak to the blank items on the ILA as well,
There's some things that just need to get filled in an ILA. Most of them are date oriented.
which is keyed off of Winlock approving.
Yes, and so, yeah, if we approve tonight, I believe that Winlock will. Put it in front of their council next week. They run opposite Mondays as us.
And the termination date?
Yeah, that's for us to discuss. Let's see. So that's where we are. Maybe we get a motion in a second and then we can do some discussion.
I'll make a motion that we pass. Where am I? Resolution 273.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion in a second, so more discussion.
Who do we currently use?
The county. We take $20 and then the county takes $4,000 to $5,000 and we're supposed to do about 70% of the work and we don't do any of that work historically.
And so what do we realize from this?
We'll realize the entire amount minus roughly $750, $800. So a couple thousand, $2,000-$3,000 a pop.
Okay, what is that $750, $800? Cause I'm seeing $75 here.
There's about, I guess, an average of, 9 to 11 inspections per house. So average of 10 inspections per house.
Okay,
And as the house gets bigger, the fee goes up, so it kind of gets covered. If you got 3 fireplaces, you're gonna be paying us a bunch extra and you probably end up incurring another inspection. And these funds have to be spent in planning and permitting, which is great because we need to spend some money in planning and permitting.
So that was my first question is like, are the building inspections going to be as rigorous as the county?
100%.
But then you just said if it's not as. Like if you got something wrong, then he'll just come back.
Well, so, that happened when I was building my shop, right? So he came out, did the inspection, he goes, there's one little gig here. It's not a big thing. Fix it and I'll come out and check.
But doesn't the county do the same thing sometimes though?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were getting that since we were kind of asking for a little more of a fixed rate. So could we have a fixed rate where you've got that same good customer service? But I think that's what we're getting.
And then
but
you
the
said,
difference here is that the county,
well, I get it.
Capital.
I understand that, but,
And we were supposed to be doing all kinds of things. I mean, we had to give that money back to Piles because we didn't do our job as a city. And which was evaluate the GIS, make sure you can actually build there. All the city cared about historically is setbacks and 50% lot coverage. That's it.
and then you said, not with union, what was it?
Oh, the Winlock is union, so they have a 2-hour call out minimum, but these aren't call outs.
So we wouldn't be paying his. Okay, explain that to me.
He's already at work.
He's already at work. Okay, so,
I mean, if somebody wanted an inspection on Sunday and he decided to do it, it would be a 2-hour call out and we would probably charge the person.
all right.
I don't think we have anything like that in our fee structure. Is there like a urgent?
What
request?
happens if he decides to leave?
Us and Winlock could be looking for somebody. But,
Also talk about the possibility.
thank you. So I did discuss with Lee Napier, the county being a backup for us. So we would potentially execute an ILA with the county. They just wanted to make it clear they don't want crossover on the same. So they don't want Robert doing half the inspections on the house and them doing half the inspections.
So would you have that ILA first before we do this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, we don't, if we had 100 house starts due next week, yes, 100%. But we're gonna have a house placement here coming up inside of a month. I spoke with the gentleman when he was at the counter and told him that I was doing, that the city's doing inspections and we'd love to have him go through that process and he sounded interested. Kurt's definitely interested to the point where he said he would hold off if we're not ready. But I think we're gonna be ready before he is. we don't have to have our process completely down, you know, I think that, again, if we were doing 100 house starts next week, I would say that we're not ready. But we still have more groundwork to do, we have some learning to do, we're gonna make some mistakes. So it's nice that we've got some small builders.
So it's important to actually get the agreement with Winlock in place before we do anything with the county.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to sever the ties with the county until we know that Winlock is in place. And then we'll come back around, cancel what we currently have with the county and then set up a backup plan.
And our deal with the county is almost nothing more than a letter of intent almost. So we really don't have much of a contract. But I think that we're gonna end up giving them 30 days.
So we would be saving money on this.
We would be making money.
I mean, saving and making.
Yeah. You know, we don't, I foresee us getting to the point where we can have headcount that takes care of planning and permitting and, you know, we can afford Todd as an ongoing thing if we're having revenue to pay for it. We can build out a planning room here, you know, that money coming in could help build out City Hall.
We'll talk about that.
If it ends up being,
Later.
if it ends up being, you know, a viable building.
Yeah. That's right. Okay.
Did I miss any of the other things that had to be filled in? Yeah, we've got effective dates.
I was just curious about the 4.2, the termination date is highlighted, effective until. Shall remain in full force and effective until.
Yeah, and we can choose that as a number.
I think we at least want it through next year, 2020.
I think so.
It's probably a automatic renewal clause.
Is that not built into this?
I don't know.
He should have input on that, yeah.
The bulk of it is boilerplate. I mean, we do have the advantage of we're both covered by the same
Until.
legal representation, so it's a neutral
Yeah,
boilerplate with
Depends on
the
what
blank
drives
lines for
Right,
for us to
Well, we can put in-
to do the negotiation part. So we could run that until the end of 24 if we wanted. Or recommend that for.
Talking about that second highlighted. Remain in full force and
Well-
effect until.
because we are unsure, right?
Yeah, and that gives us a year and 3 months to,
And there's other conditions you can terminate earlier than that.
yes, if it's not working out or with notice.
Yeah. But I'm just
And-
saying, if we make it 12/31 of this year, it's kind of like a short window.
That's,
And if things work out, we'll extend it.
we're already given,
Yeah,
Buzzard a lot of money.
Yeah.
Put an automatic renewal clause in there somewhere.
So temporarily, we're going with what in that blank, 2024?
end of 2024.
Okay.
I will look into
What our lawyer recommends.
renewal clause.
Yeah.
And that goes in well with the annual adjustment of service fees beginning in January 2025.
There it is.
So it's kind of part of a renegotiate,
Mhm.
Makes
which is fine because, you know, if we're doing great and we're not living a little bit hand to mouth there. And their union fees are gonna go up, so go ahead.
And we can also take this document and change that date.
We can iterate on it with both, yeah,
Absolutely.
with both parties agreeing.
So this process then, would they just go directly to Winlock?
No, they do everything with us and then, yeah, they don't, as far as they know, Robert is our inspector. He's gonna start out with doing the inspections and the plan review, which is just making sure that it is a building that's, as he says, most likely they're all signed off by professional contractors, so there's not really anything to review unless it's the person that wrote their own plan.
So who's built it?
Robert Webster is the inspector.
And,
He's Winlock's inspector, so this is a ILA with Winlock to
okay,
loan
well,
out their inspector.
then what I'm asking is. How are they gonna meet Robert?
He will come to their building and then do an inspection of like, are your pipes laid out correctly? Is your
Are they-
electricity?
Are they
okay?
coming here to file with?
Yes.
Yes, they do everything here, and then when it's time, they reach out to us for the inspection and we pass it to Robert.
Yeah, we'll
And he wants to do all
come
that digitally.
with the Flow of how we're gonna send things and. But they'll come here, they'll pay their fees here, and then we'll.
Typically, the builder is required to give 48 hours notice or 24 hours at least for an inspection. So they call that inspection in and they would call it into our city hall, who would then arrange with Robert to schedule the inspection. And if we get to the point where we're running 10 or 12 houses at a time, which would be typically a phase for a subdivision, that may entail a lot of inspections that day, so they'll want to be in control of that. We'll want to have our city staff in control of that. But it shouldn't take very long in the building process for us to actually be able to hire a planning clerk or develop one. So that all of that can be done in-house and specifically for that purpose.
I think we could also potentially put something on the website so that you could request an inspection.
Yes.
Because the way it's gonna work between us and Winlock is everything will be done digitally, so we won't be shuttling papers back and forth. It'll be all. They're using Visions for, I'm not sure if they've got that up and running yet. They have the
They do,
planning.
I talked to Mary the other day, as soon as it's live, they're gonna send, a couple of new platforms that they rolled out, like there's one for dog licensing, there's another one for permits, and it's just a part of Visions that,
Cha-ching, yeah.
yeah.
So, exhibit A Winlock service fees, that's where we're gonna plug in $75,
Yes,
okay? There's an A and a B, but they're the same thing. Building inspection services of building inspectors and then building administration services of building.
so the one is inspections and the other is the plan review.
Okay,
And I don't know if he wants to do that on a fixed fee for plan review. I think our plan review cost covers that. And, or if he wants to,
$600 for plan review, and you should be able to do that without any problem.
yeah,
I would strongly suggest that you make that first ILA through 2025.
Yeah.
Because Cowlitz Meadows is gonna be right in the middle of construction when that timetable hits, and you don't wanna be in a position where you're on the bad side of negotiating.
so okay, so we, go ahead, Emily.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't those contracts like a typical contract for your police department, or aren't they typically 5 years anyway? I don't know, when we do this, 5 years, or is it
I think that we're,
Not for the,
not for something like this?
I think that this is this is a meet and greet version of it, right? To see if things are going along well, and heck, before 5 years, they might be too busy and we might have enough building that.
Yeah,
And the opposite could very much be true.
this is true
Yes,
as
it could
well.
be that they're
We don't want to paint ourselves into a corner.
Because he's out of things to do in Winmar,
Yeah.
because they're reaching capacity.
Mhm.
and we're kind of shying away from long-term contracts. Based on our history.
We could just do a 48-year contract right now. So one option for the project review is to go hourly. Do you have an opinion on that, Steve?
Would that be us keeping track of their mileage and all that?
No, that would be them billing us for it.
I really don't see a problem with that, because then it takes into account all subsequent building, because you're going to, let's say with Choma, you're gonna have townhomes, which are gonna be relatively easy. You're gonna have smaller single family homes, but then you're gonna have executive homes, which are gonna take a lot of time to plan check. And you essentially are gonna get what you pay for. So you'll make it back up in the building fees.
So we can do $75 for inspections per inspection, and then we could do the 5209 or 5209
55.
Yeah, or 55, because that way we're not stuck with them, you know, if their union renegotiates and they go up a little bit and they're gonna want to readdress that with us.
You know, one thing Robert did mention though was that along the way, the book plan checking is not that difficult.
That we should pick it up,
And that
yeah.
that we probably would be able to train our in-house clerk to take on most of those functions.
And then if it's a big complicated one, we can cover that through pass through. We may have one that we send to GNO. I mean, if it's a.
Exactly.
So does that cover everything that we need? Because I would take an amendment to the,
I think we're still in the amendment. We've just been talking about it.
yeah, I was just. So effective the end of 2025, 75, so that's that one. We can leave the effective, or effective until the end of 2025. I think we should leave the effective date empty until both parties have agreed on it. And so then we're at 75 an hour. I like the idea of something like 55 an hour for, or actually 75 per inspection and then 55 an hour for plan review. And I think that covers the questions if somebody would like to.
I'll
amend.
make a motion that we accept those amendments to resolution, where did it go?
273.
Specific,
73.
specifically being at end of 2025 for the effective date and 75 per inspection and 55 an hour.
Yes,
All right, second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion?
How will we know when the effective date is? Do we have to have another meeting?
We'll talk to,
Accept it?
That first blank.
It'll be keyed off of the Winlock's council accepting.
Yeah, we'll have to approve the contract again, once it gets back to us filled out.
so we could be doing that the 1st of.
Yeah.
Of November, okay. All right, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we have some unfinished business, elected officials training follow-up. We cover that or? Or you have more to say?
Yeah, I mean, all the information is there for you guys. You should all have received an invitation from me from the RMSA. Those classes I assigned to you, I can see them in my dashboard. There's a couple of them that are required through them, and then the stuff on the elected officials is all in here. If you guys have any questions, let me know, but it's all pretty much laid out what you guys need right here. And if you guys do take any classes outside of the RMSA, you need to email me those certificates so I can add them to your file, because I can only see the ones again that are in the RMSA. Yeah.
So, these scholarships, are you handling that or?
Yep, so just shoot me an email and I can get you the application information. It's really basic. You just fill it out and we send it in for you.
Okay. So from what I understand, there's only 2 people right now that.
Yep, so Kathy and Rebecca would qualify for the newly elected ones. And then the other ones get paid at 50%, but there's also a list on there for ones that you can take from last year as well.
You assigned me homework?
I haven't, well,
Oh, you haven't?
looked,
Oh.
'cause I assigned
I haven't
some-
looked, but,
I assigned some stuff out, I think a month ago.
okay, no, it's okay. I know that when I don't know if it was Jill or Devin assigned me the list, I got the list done. So I have that all done, but there's 30 credits that you have to take to get the certificate.
Right, and there's
So-
yearly classes in the
Yeah.
RSA that we need to take to stay current with them or within their.
One of them being open meetings. Have you taken an open
Correct,
meetings?
yeah.
Okay, great.
Rebecca's- Yeah, I got that. from
Take
her.
it.
Super
Monthly.
important. I think there's some people that should take it monthly.
Monthly.
Did you shoot that to the planning commission?
No, I got your email today, and so I have your list. I was waiting to you guys to add it. And then I'm just gonna send it out, so it'll be the open public meetings, and I think there's one other one, but I will have those out by the end of the week. And I'll let everyone know when to do it, they're gonna get them.
What does RMSA stand for?
Risk management,
Send us all your money.
Yeah.
Association. No,
That's what it means.
the cheese days, cheese
Really?
days can happen in Toledo.
management
Association.
standards,
No,
or
it's a-
something like that.
Yeah.
Lions Club does that.
No, but they get the insurance through ours.
Lions Club, it's their insurance through RMSA.
Well, they get it through Toledo, they get it through through town.
Huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I know that it's going up to, it's gonna be $68,000 next year.
Maybe they should get this.
If you didn't know. Okay, are we done talking about that?
It was a joke. It wasn't a joke.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions on what you need, just shoot me an email, cause I come in early, so I can let us time to. Me to respond back to you on that kind of stuff.
All right, moving on to other business. Lucas Cabrera. So we have I'm sure most of you know who that is. We have a planning commission vacant position that Lucas has applied for. In the packets, there's some reference statements. I think that the planning commission did a little recruitment there. They've been looking to fill their position, so it's no shock that they all think it's a fantastic idea. Brian Dennis was obviously a writer because his stands on its own. She's gone. Do we vote on this?
Yes,
We
you
do.
have to, yeah, you have to approve the appointment.
Okay, so I am recommending that we accept Lucas's offer to join the planning commission. I think he brings a fantastic slice of Toledo that is not currently sitting on the commission.
Would you say a depth of knowledge?
No, I actually think, he brings something that kind of similar to us. We're all mostly different. He similarly has got his own thing he brings. Great, he's raised his kids here in Toledo. He's cares about safety,
Yeah.
those important things.
I'll make a motion that we approve Lucas Cabrera Quesada for the planning commission vacant position.
I will second that. I think I've always said your name
We have-
incorrectly for all these
I
years.
bailed on the last part of it because any other discussion? No? Okay, take a
We'll
vote.
just call him Lucas.
All in favor?
I-
Aye. And opposed?
Just call him Louise, not Lucas.
Welcome, Lucas. I think that you'll get sworn at on the meeting on
Sorry.
Wednesday. All right, so let's see it.
Awesome.
And yes, thank you.
Good.
And then, so we need to meet on the budget.
Hooray.
So it sounds like this week is completely shot.
About
Yeah,
time.
Monday is early, you can do it till like 4.
How's Monday for you all?
Monday. is
Monday,
fine.
Monday, the next Monday.
I start jury duty next week, so I probably won't be in attendance.
I guess it depends on what time we do it. I think that we're gonna be, the first one will be a little higher level. I think we're gonna talk about, I think we need to talk about policies, because we definitely have some policy homework to do. Kind of get an introduction to the way we're gonna do budgeting this year, which
Yeah.
is fairly different.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we don't have one budget anymore, kind of like the federal government. We got away from the omnibus budget for the 4th time in 40 years. We're this year and we're doing the same. So, and I mean, it's all the same thing, but they're all broken up into
It's
chunks.
just easier to digest if you
Yeah.
sort of look at the park.
And we've carved out parks and we've carved out planning. And we've separated water and sewer. And so there's a water sewer revenue is together, water sewer CapEx is together, but expenditures are separate. Same things, city hall or our general is expenses are pulled out, PD is pulled out, we have a courts one as well. And then city revenue is pulled out from the song.
And as we do these, are we going to then convert it to a consolidated so we can see?
It does consolidate. Mhm. I actually, it's kind of funny, I stumbled into this when I wanted to make 2024's budget. I did what I would of course do is I copied 2023's, but I didn't know how to change it to 2024 yet, fiscal year 2024. And I did notice that it immediately doubled our 2023
Yeah.
budget. And so I was like, okay, that's fantastic. We need to talk to Vision so they can show us what to do. But that means they blend them all together.
Hmm.
So you could, you could do things. You could have two departments contribute to a shared item and it gets blended together in that bars number.
Mhm.
Actually, the Visions person is used to small cities,
Yeah.
not doing things like this. But it's really nice. I think I printed them all. I think they're sitting on the, go ahead.
What is it that I'm writing down October 23rd?
Is that,
The budget
that's
workshop.
numbers over?
What?
Budget workshop.
Those are numbers
Mhm.
over there?
She's talking
You have
about
numbers?
it's paperwork.
I have numbers, Shannon.
Yes.
That's exciting.
I lost my train of thought.
So are you guys all good for? four?
Yeah,
But-
4 o'clock on Monday.
Thank you. That's yes.
Most of us are.
I'm
Some of us
excited.
Thank you.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, so policy. And that's probably.
Policy and I think an overview of
Yeah.
the sections of the budget and some initial stabs. Mostly it's copy pasta of last year's numbers with some cleanup. I also started the amended budget for 2023. And similarly, I found you don't just have to go in and edit the 2023 budget. You can create in a 2023 amended budget as its own separate budget. And change values just on, so there's the amended budget's like currently 6 or 7 items. I know we have more to do. But we moved $26,000 from a part-time police position to the
Yeah,
officer one, so
yeah,
that line item was minus 26,000, the
Yeah,
other was plus
exactly.
26,000 and
Yeah.
voila.
We'll have a book for
right.
2020.
And without a-
Yeah.
yeah.
It will be a
It will
book.
be a book.
It will be a novel.
You also want to talk about Green Osborne's recommendations.
Oh,
and
yeah.
changes.
Water, that'll probably be.
Yeah, we should probably talk about
Mm.
water sewer on Monday.
And then also, I think that, we should come probably with expectations for council for 2024 too, right? That's what we're supposed to do as, like, for next year's plans for 2024, as we're going, like, right? That's,
Yeah, I figure we're gonna be
Okay.
meeting 4 or 5 times
Yeah,
between now and
exactly.
Yeah,
and
there's several meetings.
December, so-
There's
Yeah.
some,
which we're behind on,
oh, not too bad though.
Yeah.
I think.
not too bad.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? Public input, 3 minutes. Sue, what do you got to say? Oh, go ahead, Jake.
I have two things. One is they were brought up, we're gonna have a candidate forum,
Oh, thank you.
next Wednesday at 6:30 at the Presbyterian Church, and we get a chance to ask questions. I think there's a code. Cindy Samco can say more. There's like a Google Docs thing where you can submit questions anonymously or to specific people or whatever. Yeah, come and meet us and ask us questions. The second thing is, we're having another recycling event at Wallace Pond on Saturday, the 28th at 10 a.m. And Emily is setting it up and it's through the county and, bringing
Yeah.
tires and
tires and
TVs and stuff.
Is anyone
TVs.
advertising that meet the candidates night? Cause I know there's been a lot of people that have asked. I haven't seen anything on Facebook or anything. It'd be great to like,
Was,
Yeah,
but it needs to be posted again.
yeah, we should, cause
Okay.
there's been a lot of people asking and I've been letting them know, but I probably had. a
It's all
dozen.
posted on the bulletin board out here.
there's a
Yeah.
flyer with the code and stuff. We'll get more word out on that too.
Okay, great.
Okay. Maybe hang some kind of McDonald's or something.
Yes, sir.
What's the status of a new police officer?
We have a couple of
there you
candidates
go.
right now. I think there's about 3 people that have applied. We're waiting on one more person, and I think we plan to do.
Who is it? We have two,
I think it's 3.
is it three?
Yeah. So we're working on it, yeah.
The last two weren't there very long.
No. It's unfortunate.
Did them on Sunday, left Monday.
I know. You know, Toledo had an entire year's worth of events go on in his first 2 days. And I
Yeah.
can just imagine he took that home for his debrief with the wife and she goes, this is no different than Toledo, Tacoma or Portland. Yeah, which is crazy. I think that's
I think that's it.
that's
yeah.
it. Okay,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
okay, all in favor?
I,
All right, we're adjourned.
all right.